Hello, StarCraft fans, and welcome back once again to the North American Star League, where we are hosting our Season 4 qualifier number 4. It will be Major versus Hyun, Terran versus Zerg in the grand final. That makes me happy because I love watching Zerg players win games.
Yes. But the Zerg has not won yet.
He has not won yet.
And Major has been very good against Zerg recently, Ben.
He has
looks
been exceptional.
Good. He did lose against Adra in the WCS North America Continental Finals, but he also beat a lot of good players to get that far. Was still top 4 finish for Major, so I think he played a very good tournament that weekend.
He played an awesome tournament. I think top 4 for a Mexican player was unexpected, given that I mean, you really don't hear a lot about the Mexican StarCraft scene, but Juan playing some beautiful games.
Well, if there was one player who was going to do it, it was obviously
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Before we jump into our final best of 5 of the day, because it is our final, we've got a little bit of a groups show for you folks planned here. Season 4 starts in like
2 weeks.
Yeah. September 12th is when our first play day begins. And we decided to give our champions of Season 3 a little bit of an edge, a little bit of a reward for their great play throughout the 3rd season of the North American Star League, and they were allowed to select some of the players in their groups. In fact, each of the top 5 seeded players from Season 3 got to select 3 players to play in their group. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to reveal the first 3 players of each group for Season 4 of the North American Star League.
I'm excited, Ben. The top 5 is, of course, the 4 semi-finalists of Season 3 and Puzzle, because Puzzle was the #1 seed after the regular season. Only losing 1 game, I believe, and that was against Moro.
And then playing that exceptional PvP final against Hero to determine who would be
the
top
#1 seed. Yeah, that was sick. Oh, that was so fun. Yeah.
That was a really great game. So, folks, with no further ado, first up, the champion of Season 3, Stefano, and his first choice in groups, QXC, representing Team Complexity. So Group 1 will conclude Stefano and QXC. Group 2.
Let's talk a little bit about that first.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about QXC and that choice.
Not quick. I think it's, I wouldn't say it's like a logical choice. I don't think there are any really weak players anymore in Season 4. I think everybody is really quite strong. But of course, Stefano, quite known for his EVT. He feels comfortable in the matchup. And I guess knowing Stefano, he probably just looked through the names. He's like, American Terran player, let's pick it. But I actually think that there could have potentially been better picks for Stefano, because I was very impressed with QXC's TVZ over the course of the last few months.
Certainly recently, it's progressively getting better and better and
certainly when he came to the conclusion
that Ravens are the strongest Terran unit. QXC actually turning over a new leaf and realizing the strength of the Raven and blogged about it.
But still, interesting pick by Stefano. I can understand it. I wouldn't say that I would make the same pick. Then again, if you're Stefano, I guess you just don't really care.
Our second pick goes to our second-place finisher at the North American Star League Season 3. It was, of course, Alicia and his choice for the first player to join him in his group, Beastie QT. Of course, we know Beastie very well, the Terran player representing Team Empire. Qualified for the 3rd season of the North American Star League by playing in the Open at the end of the season. Was actually in the top 16, but ran into Stefano, where he was eliminated, of course. Yeah,
he won the first round against Moro, one of the guys who always does well in the NASL. So that was a really great win. Interesting pick by Alicia. Beastie's TVP, it goes up and down. It's kind of like, how would you describe it, Ben?
I think it goes with his emotions, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's like, if he's in good mindset, he has a good state of mind, and he feels that Protoss is beatable. I actually think that Beastie's army control in general is very good.
Yeah, so some of the best in the world.
This might really be a tough pick for Alicia. Then again, Beastie was in the USA for a long time, trained in your house for quite a while. Recently just went home again to Serbia, and you never know how guys are going to do after living in a gaming house for quite a while. Maybe they've had suddenly enough of it. Maybe they are more motivated than ever. I had a good feeling when BC left that I still think we're going to see good stuff out of him, but you don't know how it's going to turn out.
That said, I do like this group for Beastie because we know, and you guys will know too by the end of this, that he's in the group with 2 other European players. And that's going to bode well for him in terms of connection things. Up next, MC, 3rd place or 4th place finisher. No, 3rd place. That's North American Star League Season 3. His first pick, and I think it is a funny one, Liquid Chef.
And why do we think that's funny? Well, guys, I'm not sure if you remember. Last season, we had the Sunday Showdowns. Sunday Showdowns were basically a big show match series, 7 weeks on a row, live here in Irvine. We brought 2 players. And one of the show matches that we had, our final one actually, was SKMC against Liquid Chef. But ironically enough, they were also in the same division in the NASL Season 3. And more ironically enough, their division was played that day and they played against each other. So they played a best of 7 for the Sunday Showdown and they played a best of 3 for the regular season. Well, MC won them both, I believe 2-0 and 4-1. Is that correct?
Yes, it was decisive.
Yes.
Regardless, definitely won 7 quick games against Sheth, and even funnier than that, went on to play against him at the E3 booth, winning more StarCraft games.
Okay, so I guess MC was just like, I remember beating that guy really a lot.
Last 10 times they've played, MC's won at least 9 of them.
Yeah, so.
And I think that pick makes a lot of sense for him. Group 4. Of course, captain of this group will be Liquid Ret. He had a great finish.
Crown so hard.
Can't stop that. And stuff. Strong Zerg player from the Netherlands, your countryman Kev, he picked to join him in his group, Massa.
Root for Root Massa. Wow, if you would try that 100 more times, Ben, that's never going to work. Ben just threw a paper and it like squeezed right in between, like the most narrow choke of all time. Any case, I think that's a pick that I can understand for Red. Red, of course, always comfortable in ZVT, likes playing against Terrans. Just looked over the list of players. If I were Red, maybe I would have rather picked a European Terran, because at the end of the day, Massa is still a North American Terran player. And
one that he doesn't probably play against on a regular basis.
Yes, exactly. He doesn't know that much about him, and that also means that he's still going to play cross-server a little bit. Well, if he would play against a European, it would be good server all the time, and normally that's good for Red, as he is a great ZVT player. But yeah, I can understand it. It kind of speaks for itself.
Number 5, Group 5. Fifth group captain is, of course, Puzzle.
Yes.
And his choice is another one that I find kind of interesting. Puzzle chose Xenio.
Yeah,
also of Team Liquid, and I think that's a questionable decision. Xenio, while he has maybe not had the best results recently, I think he's a very dangerous player. He's got an unorthodox play style. He mixes it up, and his ZVP is particularly exciting.
It's fun to watch, and it's really hard to predict. He has a lot of strange pushes. Sometimes he even uses Nidus Worms, or we see the comeback of Hydra Ling. Very questionable decision as well, but hey, we can look into Puzzle's mind, and I guess Puzzle just thought like, hey, I'm freaking Puzzle, man. It doesn't matter who I play. I can play Xenio, so yeah, Puzzle picked Xenio while he had the opportunity to pick literally every single player out there in the NASL Season 4. He took Xenio. Well, Xenio would not be my first pick. I would be pretty terrified to have Xenio, even in my group. But
I feel the same way. But that's the way it went, guys. Back over to group number 1 with Stefano once again, his second pick. The second player that will be joining QXC and Stefano, the third player that will be joining QXC and Stefano.
One of our favorites.
One of our absolute favorites, representing Team Fnatic. It is Night End. Night End.
Silvio.
The Romanian.
Silvio Lazar.
Very strong Protoss player who has been living in Korea, training in Korea, and his results have been getting progressively better.
Certainly that one DreamHack, he had a fantastic run. At the Home Story Cup, he played some great games as well. And very recently, there was another tournament. Was it Azus Rock, I believe, where he had a very good showing?
Yeah, he came 4, maybe.
Yeah, maybe not top 4, but he came very far at least. And he had a lot of good best-of-5 wins. But of course, we all know Stefano. He loves his ZVP.
Yes, yes. And Stefano's got a long history against Night End. They've run into each other in a lot of tournaments.
Yeah, and everybody who runs a lot into Stefano often doesn't come out very good. So I guess Stefano just thought like, hey, I beat Night End pretty often. Let's pick Night End. But it's going to be a nice matchup. They were in the same division as well in the NASL Season 3, ironically enough.
That's right.
I remember that.
And
Stefano won 2-0.
Yes, he did. Back over to group number 2, where Alicia is king. His second pick, the Belarusian Lowly. What's up, Lowly? Braddock's larger, stronger, scarier-looking older brother. Not really, but we joke about it. Nobody looks scarier than Braddock.
Nobody looks scarier than Braddock. And then also nobody is nicer than Braddock, but that's the side that you never know.
That said, nobody's gameplay is scarier than Lowly's, who showed us some very impressive games during Season 3 of the North American Star League. Does a lot of homework on his opponents and prepares builds specifically for the matchup he will be playing against. Am I mistaken? He was in the same group as Alicia last season, was he not?
I believe Alicia was in Group 4 and Lowly was Group 3. I'm not sure.
Was Lowly in Puzzle's group then?
No. You might be right.
Somebody didn't prepare well enough for the show. This guy. Either way, Lowly played a great season, had a great season in Season 3, won a lot of games, and was at one point on top of his group, Kev.
Yep.
Unfortunately, had very difficult opponents at the end of the season. and ultimately did not end up qualifying for the playoffs.
Yeah, they were actually in the same group because it was Torzin's group as well. Torzin and Red were in
that's
the
what I
group.
thought, because Alicia was one of Loli's last opponents in Season 3. And it was a huge game. It was a game that kind of determined who would be on top of the group. And Alicia ended up winning it. Loli ended up losing it. So once again, Alicia says, hey, beat you before. I can do it again.
Yep, and also, interestingly enough, so far Alicia picked 2 players, both Europeans. I'm starting to see a pattern over here.
Speaking of patterns, back over into Group 3 with MC. He's making another choice, Kevin, and he has once again chosen a North American Zerg player. MC picks Vibe.
And that, Ben?
Might be a mistake.
Yes.
Because Vibe's playing some incredible StarCraft recently. The best Zerg player in North America. The best player in the United States. Shoot, I can't say the best Zerg player because he lost to Scarlet. But certainly the second best Zerg player in North America. And certainly the best United States representative.
Yeah, and he comes off winning quite a lot of money. That's always nice for your career, because then suddenly you don't have that much extra pressure on your shoulders anymore. Like, oh, I need to do well in this, I need to do well in that. No, Vibe just literally won over $20,000 in 2 WCS tournaments he participated in. That really makes your life a little bit easier, guys. And suddenly you play StarCraft much more relaxed. And you're probably going to play better as well. Now, needless to say, yes, MC is still the favorite, but I think he could have chosen better opponents than Vibe, because I think that Vibe is going to give him a serious run for his money.
Yep, Vibe's got some great ZVP. We've seen a lot of it. We've seen real flashes of brilliance from him, and we will see more great play from Vibe throughout Season 4, I can guarantee you that. Back over to group number 4 with Rhett. Rhett making another interesting choice, picks up the EG Protoss player. It's Huck. It's Chris Loranger.
Chris Loranger getting picked by Rhett. Now, Ben, when I think of this and I see Rhett sitting there, all I imagine is just a gauntlet in the hand, and he drops it right in front of Gog. I pick you.
Chris.
I found this a very interesting pick.
He says, hey.
Yeah. And this already, Ben, makes it one of my favorite maps, favorite matches of the season. Now, guys, we have a ton of sick players in Season 4, and it's not going to be like last season where we had like one play day or like one best of 3 on one play day that we really look forward to. We're going to have that almost every single day now.
Yeah, there are actually no bad matchups next season.
Well, I mean, there were always matchups which are more fun than another one, but we're going to have a lot of those killer matchups. But Red versus Hawk, that's going to be so sick.
It's going to be
because the Red literally said, hey, Hawk, I want you in my group because I'm going to beat you.
That's exactly right. They have a little bit of history, not the most history. They're North Americans, or North American and a European, and Huck's been living in Europe a lot. But so they haven't had a chance to meet in tournament settings that often.
Huck's been living in Korea, I guess.
Is that not what I said?
You said Europe.
Damn it.
I was like, I would have loved to share some plays with Huck in Europe, but that never happened.
No. He's, of course, been living in Korea for a long time. But I'm very eager to see that matchup unfold and that group unfold, because I do think that Group 4 is a very exciting group. Group number 5, and back over to Puzzle. His second choice after picking Xenio, also representative Team Liquid. It is Dario Wunsch.
Yep.
TLO.
Another interesting pick, Ben. I kind of have a weak spot for TLO. I'm not super close with Dario. We talk every now and then. But I really have respect for the amount of hard work that he puts into the game. I don't think I never want to say, like, I don't know any other player that works as hard as TLO, because I get sick of these people like, oh, hardest working player or Pearson in esports.
There's a ton of really big workers in the scene.
Exactly, but
TLO's on the list.
He's without a doubt one of them. He streams a lot, he plays a lot, and there's a serious improvement in his mechanics. He always comes up with good stuff as well, and I know it's just a matter of time before TLO is going to have, I wouldn't say another breakthrough, because of course he had his success in the past, but that finally people are going to think of TLO once more as one of the absolute best players in Europe.
And he is a great innovator, and he's still innovating, Kevin. Of course, that screenshot popped up on Reddit recently where he had like 7 Broodlords and like 100 Overlords. And then I said to myself, that's actually brilliant, because you can't focus fire the Broodlords when they're...
No, I find that a weird pick by Puzzle, but of course Puzzle's such a good Protoss player. I'm not going to say he's going to lose to TLO, but it's going to be very tough, because, I mean, I wouldn't want any one of them in my group, but if I had the skill of Puzzle, I would rather avoid TLO.
How confident must he be in PvZ to pick 2 Zergs right off the bat? So, very interesting choices. Back over to Group 1 and Stefano. Stefano's final pick that will be revealed today is once again a foreigner, is once again a Protoss player, and you can see him on the screen there. It's Pyam. It's Root TT1.
Interestingly enough, Ben, TT1 was in that Division 1 as well last season. I think that was actually one of our very, very first games of the season that we casted. Stefano against TT1, where TT1 went for sort of...
That was the first game, I think, that we casted of the season.
I think we started off with either Puma or with Sen.
It It was definitely on day one.
Yeah, it was on day one. I remember that. I think it's the last one as well. Wow, we suddenly see ourselves in the projector.
Yeah, hello. Hi, us. Hi, viewers.
Wow.
How are you?
That looks awkward. Well, that escalated quickly, Ben. Suddenly there are 4 of us. In any case, they were in the same groups as well last season, and yeah. Interesting pick, fun picks. I'm getting distracted right now by messages that pop up left and right, which are not even meant for me. But yeah, not a Protoss player. I can't blame him. Last season he looked very good for Stefano. TT1 is a fantastic player though, and he had a very unfortunate run at WCS. And this might actually be one of the reasons why Stefano said, hey, I want Pyam in my group, because he's just not a star against Zerg.
Back over to Alicia and his final pick. It is, of course, the Terran player from Ukraine. I promise it is Strelok. Eugen.
Eugen is very much like Lowly, who's in this group as well. A player that really specifically prepares for his NASL match. He knows who he's going to play in 1 week. He's going to watch replays. He's going to prepare builds exactly for this guy, nothing else. He really lives from week to week. He doesn't just generally practice and then, oh, tomorrow I have NASL, I'm going to do some warm-up ladder games. No, he really plays custom games, lives forward, tries to study his opponent. So Lowly versus Strelok is going to be interesting.
I think Beastie versus Strelok is going to be very interesting. But what I think is most interesting is the confidence that Alicia is showing in his Protoss versus Terran, and also his his refusal to choose a Korean player. He says, I'm going to take all the Europeans.
I'll take all the Europeans. And actually, one of our admins asked us, Alicia, why you pick all Eastern European player? And then Alicia said, I think EU easy. So
well, to be completely fair, players playing from Eastern Europe against players playing from Korea have to play on North America. And that is something that you have to be mindful of. There's going to be a very real latency difference for a North American for a Korean connecting to North America and an Eastern European connecting to North America. There's some real lag there. So just another thought.
But that works 2 ways.
It does. It absolutely does. Back over to MC. His final pick is going to be Hwangson of It's Gosu. Hwangson, is it still It's Gosu?
Yes.
It
Look
is.
at his shirt,
okay,
man.
Cool. Just making sure.
It says it really big on the screen.
I'm sorry. The only reason I say that is because I know that some of the folks involved with It's Gosu are working closely with Quantic these days. Regardless, Hwangson will be in MC's group. MC choosing the PvP for himself there. Hwangson, a great player. I don't think that's ever a free win, but MC's PvP, some of the best in the world. His blink control.
I think that's very straightforward. MC might look, okay, I want to Protoss in my group. Well, I might just go for Hwangson. MC's PvP is really good. Yes, he did lose that GSL final 4-1 against Seed, but that can happen on any given day, certainly against a player like Seed. Seed is just fantastic. Overall, I don't think MC has anything to worry about regarding his PvP, so I think that pick makes sense.
Yep. Back to Rhett once again, and this is one of my favorite picks of all. European Showdown. A couple of guys that have a lot of history. Rhett versus Hasuobs over in Group 4. And wow, that's not an easy win for Rhett by any stretch.
I'm very surprised that Rhett picked Hasu actually. Hasu also a player who does very well in the North American Star League. Went to, I believe, both the offline finals of Season 1 and Season 2. Made it into the players of Season 3, then ended up losing, I believe, against Galaxy 3-2.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we always talk about his credentials. Hasu has a resume that might be more impressive than anybody else in esports outside of the true legends, the guys like Moon, Lin, Grubby. We can talk about Brood War pros like Flash and Jadon, guys like that have just played in everything and won everything. Hasu's one of those guys. He's been in international events for every organizer, in every game. He's been around forever, and he's a true competitor, and he's a truly dangerous player.
And what I also find funny is that Hasu plays the kind of style that normally makes people like Red angry.
That's so funny. You're exactly right. Rhett is a little bit like Idra when it comes to his
he
ZVP.
loves action, he loves multitasking, he loves it when stuff happens. But Hasu, yes, Hasu can play that style, but if he feels that he's not going to come out on top,
he's just going to sit there.
He's going to sit, and he's going to sit for a long time until you see 3-3-3 Stalkers, Motherships, Colossus and whatnot. So I find it funny that Red kind of picks an opponent which plays a style that he kind of hates to face.
Yeah, very interesting choice. Regardless, should lead to a very exciting European showdown.
But still, Red versus Hawk is like, that's an even bigger picture.
A great match, and I hope that we get to cast it. Our final pick.
Oh, we get to cast it. Otherwise, I call him me.
Our final pick is finally Puzzle. And he has chosen another one of our buddies, Kevin, the Italian Terran player, Cloud. Carlo Gianocco will be playing against Puzzle over in the final group. So that's I think just a very straightforward pick as well.
I think so as well. I think Cloud is a great player. It really depends how his mind is. Some days he's great. Some days you're watching, and is this really the same Cloud? Is this the Cloud that I was a fan of in Brood War?
The best Cloud can beat anybody.
Yeah.
The worst Cloud can lose to anybody.
Yep.
And it really
his variance is huge.
It really depends, on where his head is week to week. But I do think he's in a pretty good place right now. I've been talking to him a little bit on Skype recently, and he's a good guy. And
he is. Like, he's a little bit misunderstood because he's very, very straightforward, and he's not like everybody else. He doesn't like to have this little PR show around him to pretend that he's such a good guy and, oh, I want everybody to love me. No, Cloud is just Cloud, and you can love Cloud or you can not love him, but that's completely okay with him because he's not going to act any different.
Yeah, he's exactly
he doesn't even know how to do that.
You said it really well. Reason I contacted Cloud is because I wanted to do an interview with him. I was like, hey, Cloud, I want to interview you. I want to share some of your story with the StarCraft scene. He's like, well, I don't really think I deserve it. And I was like, okay, well, we're still going to do the interview. And he's like, all right, well, let's do it Wednesday. Okay, Cloud, see you Wednesday.
Yeah, he's not a PR guy.
No.
In any case, I do think it's, I like Cloud a lot. As we said, we think he's a great player. For puzzle, it's still a straightforward pick. He's like, okay, my PvT is probably not bad. I already have 2 Zergs in my group. Let's pick a European Terran.
Yep.
And end up with Cloud. It's not going to be easy for puzzle, but I do understand it from his point of view.
That's it, folks. The first 3 picks in every group. We're going to go ahead and run through them for you one more time. Stefano's picks. QXC, Night End, and TT1 will round out the rest of these groups over the next couple of days. We'll be filling it in based on region, race, and team. Group 2, Alicia's picks. Beastie, QD, Lowly, and Strelok. All Eastern Europe. Going to be squaring off against Alicia. Who is it going to favor? We will find out, but I cannot wait to see Beastie play. MC's picks, Sheth, Vibe, and Huangson, choosing a couple of North American Zergs, and then the
sort of North American Protoss.
Yeah, pseudo North American Protoss, Huangson. Rhett's group, Masa, Huck, and Hasuobs, choosing all foreigners there.
I'm loving this group already, Ben. I'm loving Group 4
already.
already.
Very exciting names in this group, especially for people that like to follow the North American and the European scenes.
Yep.
And finally, Puzzles group, the last group, Xenio, TLO, and Cloud. This looks already to be a very competitive group, and I cannot wait to see these games unfold. Just a small taste of what you can expect in Season 4 of the North American Star League, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking with us through that little string of announcements. We're going to play a short commercial.
Yeah.
After Kevin says the important thing, the important message.
I know you kind of caught me off guard, but what I want to say is, guys, that Wednesday is the day that we're going to publish the full group. So then you guys will know how it's really going to look. And as Ben already previously mentioned, we're going to wrap the group up and make sure that we divide the players correctly, considering the fact race, nationality, teams, and of course server as well. We don't do that. We are way too close to many of these guys to do that. So we have an admin doing that, and of course the staff of the NASL as well. So Wednesday is the day that you guys will be able to see the full groups of the NASL Season 4. But just imagine of all the guys that you haven't seen in here yet. Of course, none of these guys is going to pick Teja, DRG, Hero, or whatnot in this group.
Yeah, we still have to figure out where those names fit into the mix. It's going to be incredibly exciting. Can't wait. So keep your eyes on NASL.tv for all those announcements. That'll be coming out Wednesday, and more great stuff coming throughout the week. Very short break, and then Major versus Hune, final best of 5 of the day when we get back.